Patriots people and Foxborough friends, here's hoping you and yours had an absolutely delightful holiday season right up until the very merriest and holly jolliest and hopefully healthiest of Christmases, at least a healthier one than your New England Patriots, who are coming into Sunday's clash at JetLife Stadium with the New York Jetropolitans, as banged up as Johnny Lyons and I after hitting the nog at the corporate holiday party. Do the Patriots have enough guys, men, football players to actually get the job done Sunday at MetLife against a potentially dangerous but altogether terrible Jets team? Fitzy and Lyons here on the post-Christmas edition of Six Rings to preview it and let you know what's up. All right, Johnny, here we go. Ready for that theme song? 3, 2.
Hey, whatever it takes, man. It's all about winning, all right? Win on 3. 1, 2, 3, win!
Celebrating the heroes of Foxborough's past.
And with a good block. Look at Grover. All the way. Watch the block of number 73, John Hanna.
The champions of the dynastic era.
Adam Vinatieri booms a 48-yard field goal, and the Patriots are Super Bowl champions.
The Patriots of tomorrow.
We're going to remove entitlement from our football team. We're going to earn the right to be here every single day.
And the fans whose faith never wavers. This is Six Rings and Football Things.
I want to more talk about the team that I'm more excited about maybe getting the 1 seed, which is the Patriots. They finally made me a believer. Watching them against Baltimore, they came back, but it was more just the play of Drake May, and he's all of a sudden developed this great pocket presence. It reminded me of the guy that used to play.
I know you're excited about that.
And it scared the crap out of me. I don't like seeing it because, man, they look like both those teams look dangerous, but New England after that Baltimore game, looks like they got another stud, and now I am completely convinced Drake May is going to ruin my life and take over the AFC East.
Well, unfortunately, Ryan Fitzpatrick did not have a very Merry Christmas. That was from the Fitz and Wit podcast. You are listening right now to Six Rings and Football Things with Fitzy and Lyons, your old pal, Nick Fitzy Stevens from the island of Misfits Toys, alongside Santa's favorite elf himself, the coach, the professor, the master of the Lion's Den himself, the real John Lyons. And John, it was a great comeback. I had said on the radio on the postgame show last week that the one thing I wanted to see Drake May do, the one piece of adversity, the final test, the final hurdle to clear, was coming from behind, getting his first fourth quarter comeback, that last little bit of adversity. If he could do that, he could do anything. And with all the football we've watched in this absolute garbage fire of an NFL season, I figure it is absolutely, if not them who, and if not now when time for the New England Patriots. And yet, as we come to you the day after Christmas, hoping everyone had an awesome Christmas. Johnny got some really fun New England things. My family bought me cutting boards and a pasta maker. So basically, tell me you want me to make you more dinner without telling me what I'm supposed to do around my house. The Pats are banged up. John, can you actually let's just get going. Would you mind sharing with the good audience right now, in case any of our live viewers on the WEEI and Fitzy GFY socials, or anyone listening to the pod on Odyssey, Spotify, Apple Tunes, Kicker, I don't know, and come up with the name of another pod sharing sports app. They're a mess right now heading into the game on Sunday. Are they even going to have enough guys to field an all 22 against the Jets?
Yeah. Looking for 22 guys this weekend, Fitzy. And Kayshon Boutte, Matt Collins, Harold Landry, Spillane, Tonga, Jared Wilson, all ruled out already. Seems like Milton Williams also won't be back. So this kind of, when I see this injury report, Fitzy, it takes me back to something you and I have talked about in July, in September, in November. It's the depth of this team, right? That was our biggest concern all year, and they are going to be rolling with a lot of depth, again, against a bad Jets team, but they're going to be rolling with a lot of depth in this.
Dude, I got it. Honestly, this was an issue. Here's my favorite comment so far. My buddy Ari, watching in Los Angeles on Facebook. I'm watching on Quibi. For those of you out there that may remember the short-lived vertical orientation only content channel, Quibi. I think it was like an NBC production. Lasted about 6 months and lost about $50 million and several people their jobs. Anyway, we're not here to lose people $50 million nor their
Everybody
jobs.
watching on Vine, Snapchat,
Yeah.
Just
I like it. You guys are awesome on the Weather
Yeah.
Channel. No, dude,
Yeah.
every time I open up my smart TV, which only exists to funnel information back to China, there's a new app, and there's always like a banner ad on like the Roku channel or something that says like, hey, this movie you love now free on Funster, or like oh, this movie now playing exclusively till December 31st on Funbag, or like there's always some new Tubi or something like, you know what I mean?
I have cable and a non-smart TV, Fitzy. I never have to worry about that.
Yeah, no, honestly, living off the grid like you do, folks, if you're watching right now, or if you happen to catch a clip whenever John Lyons joins me on Six Rings, he's actually in his bunker. John does all of these from his doomsday bunker. That's why he's got the wood paneling behind him and just enough proof of life photos.
I'm actually in the basement of the Greenbrier Resort. So for those that get the reference, like that's where I am.
Deep cut. I like that one. Well done. So, yeah. Okay, here we go. Here's one. Tom Wolfe, CPA. I wonder what he does for a living. It's Chisholm time. 'Tis a Christmas miracle. Look, went through that list again. Okay, so Spillane, he was 2 weeks ago, he was active, but then he was held out of the game because his Tootsie Wootsy hurt. Now that foot injury has turned into a legitimate thing. He's been in a walking boot for a while. This will be his third straight game he's not playing in. That's a problem. Milton Williams, likely not to go, though he can come off the injured reserve list because he missed his 4 games plus had the bye. Mac Hollins with the abdomen, he's a no-go. Kayshon Boutte, who basically wore a Marlon Humphrey suit to the ground, and yet somehow that wasn't pass interference. He's injured. That was kind of a mess. Hey, the Pats still won the game, so we live and let live. But so he's out. Who else? Harold Landry?
So Boutte, Hollins, Landry, Spillane, Tonga, Jared Wilson.
Holy Christ.
Yeah, you know what I wonder?
The Jets suck, but that, woo, man. But again, Johnny, around every corner, I want to pass the ball to you here and like sort of get a feel for how they do these things. I picked the Ravens last week. In all fairness, I know I wore the suit of shame. I took the walk through Westeros. I had people throwing the rotten veggies and tomatoes at me.
You were right for 48 minutes in the game.
I was 4/5.
Those last 12.
Story of my life was I was 4/5 correct. It was a great comeback, and I'm glad that I was wrong. Obviously, so were a lot of other Pats fans, including the team themselves. But like, how many injuries can one team sustain before eventually it's like we're not even sure if we have enough guys to get through even a crappy Jets team?
There's part of me, Fitzy, that wonders if this is kind of a subtle way of thinking by them that they're not going to get the 1 seed, right? Because all these guys get ruled out, by the way, the day after the Broncos win again. Yeah. So maybe they look at it as, well, we think we can beat the Jets without a lot of these guys. And then if they come back and we beat Miami and Denver loses, yay, we have the 1 seed. If not, then hey, at least those guys got an extra week of rest before you played Miami and then went into the wild card round. So it's interesting because I want them to have a balance here. Like, I want these guys to be rested. I want them to be healthy, but I also want them to go into the playoffs playing well, especially that final week of the year against Miami. Like, have a good game as you head into the playoffs. So maybe this is just kind of like they look at it, well, maybe Jared Wilson could have played if it was a playoff game. Maybe Spillane could have played if it was for the 1 seed, but we're not sure if we're going to get it now. And it's the Jets and it's, Brady Cook. So we think we can win this game and we don't know if we're going to get the 1 seed anyway.
Yeah, so like Travion Henderson did come out of the non-contact jersey on Friday, so he could very well be a go. Yeah. But at the same time, do you want to run that risk or make it a Ramondre game?
And I don't know if this is a clue too, but Pop Douglas talked to KJ and I this morning on the morning show. And I think if he was going to sit out, maybe they wouldn't have had him talk to us. So we'll see on that. Yeah, look, I think too, like Ramondre Stevenson is at his best in a tandem. So you'd ideally want him and Henderson together, but at the same time, if it's Stevenson and Jennings, like, should that be good enough to play well enough to beat the Jet? Like, I still would think so, because again, you don't want to treat this like it's some easy cakewalk and then have it bite you in the ass. but they are the 3-12 Jets. They're not good either. So
Yeah, no, they are a very bad football team.
yeah,
Like you said, you'll be starting Brady Cook. You've got Brees Hall. Michael Rodnick points out, watching live on YouTube as we record the latest Six Rings of
yeah,
Football things, Jets will not have McDonald. They won't have their best tight end and basically their best pass catcher in Taylor. Adonai Mitchell has been waiting to get a run back at the Pats after he was open a bunch of times, but didn't really connect with Justin Fields back on that Thursday night game. I mean, it may be the right team to play if there is such a thing when you're as dinged up as the Patriots are. But as far as like pursuing that one seed, which obviously any team would covet at this time of year or any time, the Broncos going to 11-2 in one score games just kind of tells me like they're the team that is sun-kissed this year. Like that, like the Chiefs were, what are they now? Like 0-8,
last
0-9.
yeah,
The
and
charred
last
husk of
year
the
though the
Chiefs.
Chiefs won everyone. Yeah,
Yeah, the Chiefs won them all, and now and of course they make it all the way to the Super Bowl with one of their lesser than stellar rosters. Whereas this year the Broncos seem fallible at times. Like, look, last week the Jag wagon pulled up to the football stadium a mile high in the sky and kicked their ass. And the the Travis Kelce Arrowhead farewell team last night hung with them for basically 4 quarters, and it was only a 1-score game. Side note, by the way, as lousy as we all thought the football would be on Christmas Day, it was. It was not a terribly
yeah,
entertaining. It was
yeah. I spent
not an
more
entertaining
time
day.
watching the NBA, Fitzy, than I did the NFL yesterday because
I know the
it was
NBA must have loved when they saw the games like Commanders, Cowboys, blah. I like the Netflix coverage. I like the fact that they pull in an all-star cast from FanDuel TV and the NFL Network and ESPN and CBS and Fox. Like, it's great that they overpay everybody and put together a quality assortment of broadcasters, analysts, hosts, and such. But like, whew, man, like that. I know it was sort of like there was something on the line in the Vikings Lions game. That game stunk. That was not a very fun
yeah.
watch.
I think Ben Johnson might have won Coach of the Year after the Lions game.
Ooh, I did want to get into that. Who's your coach of the year right now? And because I
Yeah,
think there's like what I'd say 4, maybe 5 viable candidates.
yeah. For
Peyton,
me, I mean, the candidates were like Vrabel,
mhm.
Canales, Shanahan, Liam Cohen, and then I'd put Ben Johnson there. Like those are the 5 guys in
You
there.
put
And
Canales over Peyton. Wow.
I put Canales in there because they started 1-3. They were 5-12 last year, and now you very well could win that division and make the play. Like the way they've rebounded, I do give him a lot of credit for. And Kyle Shanahan went 5-3 with Mac Jones, and we all have our opinions on Mac Jones. Saw him up close the last few years, and he went 5-3 with him. And like we talk about Mike Vrabel and his turnaround here, the Jaguars are 4-13 last year. Liam Cohen's a first-year head coach, Rhode Island guy too, by the way, and they're sitting there, beating
Duval.
Denver. Yeah, and they have a chance, outside chance at the 1 seed too. So it's like that's how good the Jags have been. And then Ben Johnson, Ben Johnson has the case for what the Bears have done, and then also what the Lions have not done without him.
Yeah, I know. Like Dan Campbell calling play, like 6 turnovers, all of them basically in the
Yeah, and
second half yesterday. That is.
sneaky.
Go ahead.
No, sneaky other thing. Goff, 5 turnovers last night. And in the game they got eliminated against Washington last year, I think he had 4 turnovers.
Mhm.
So I'm not saying they got to bring in a new quarterback, but
I
they
was
might wanna.
wondering, Johnny. I was thinking the same thing. Like, I think Goff. It may be Goff with his head. He may be
If I look,
Goff to the nethers.
if I want to beat the Detroit Lions, what I do is I force Jared Goff to be in shotgun and beat me. Like that's
Yep.
take away the run game, the play action game, force Jared Goff to stand there in shotgun 4 or 5 wide and pick me apart. And if he does it, good for him. But I don't think he's going to do it. And he didn't do it last night. He hasn't done it other times this year. Didn't do it last year against Washington. So yeah.
Not exactly a QB rich draft either to jump in and think that
Yeah.
you can just find your next guy. So
Yeah.
I
Maybe they
wouldn't be
can get Joe
surprised
Burrow.
if they bring in somebody. I mean, they got picks. I wouldn't. Oh man, Joe Burrow in Detroit would cook. Joe Burrow in Detroit would be some extra hot sauce. All right, let's answer a couple of questions from the viewers right here. Alex Hay watching on Facebook. What would your Sunday game plan be if you were Vrabel? To me, it's got to be as simple as don't treat it like you're a 13.5-point favorite. You just need to get a win by 1 point to try to stay alive for the 1 seed and get closer to preventing Buffalo from stealing the East, but rather taking home what has felt like it would be yours. So I have just enough guys. My just enough guys, depth challenges and all, are good enough to beat your just enough guys, former defensive coordinator of the Detroit Lions, Aaron Glenn. That's how I'd go into it. So I think it makes sense the way Vrabel is handling this. Like, nope, all these guys are out. I'm not stressing them.
Yeah, really three things I'm looking for if you're going to beat the Jets on Sunday. One is, can Drake May play a clean game? The Jets, 15 games in, have 0 interceptions on defense, an NFL record. So just, don't throw any interceptions, because as good as that fourth quarter was, Fitzy, and it was arguably the best single quarter Drake May's played in his career, he did have the 2 bad turnovers earlier in the game, right? So
Yeah.
play a clean 60-minute game. I'd like to see that. Number 2, stop the Jets run game, right? Look, Breece Hall is still a good player. The Jets are 8th in the NFL, I think, in yards per carry running the ball. Their 2 tackles are first-round picks from the last couple of years. So,
Right.
there is some talent there running the ball, so try to slow that down. And then third thing for me, and I think, look, this is the most important guy in this game is Mike Vrabel, because can you keep this team, and I compare this game a lot to that Saints win they had after the Buffalo Sunday night win, where you win a big game on Sunday night. You clinch a playoff spot. You now have triple the amount of wins you had last year. And you had Christmas in the middle of the week. Like, you have all these things going on. Now a bunch of injuries. Can he keep the guys focused enough and have an adaptable enough plan with some depth pieces in there that they beat a team they should beat? And that's why, again, I've talked about that Saints win more than a lot of people probably think is worth it, because how many times in the last 4 or 5 years did they have a big win like that night in Buffalo and follow it up with multiple losses? So to build on that win, I thought was huge for them this year. And I think this is another opportunity for do that. You had a great win. You clinched a playoff spot. That's awesome. Can you build on it? Can you keep it going and stay focused despite all the other stuff going on?
Great point. That is a very apt comp. And that fourth quarter that Drake May played, do you know his numbers were so eerily close to the fourth quarter Tom Brady played in Super Bowl 49? Each of them was 12 for 14. Brady had 2 touchdowns. May had 1. There was obviously the running touchdown by Ramondre, who looked like he had fresh legs again, which was really nice to see, especially with Travion getting dinged up in that game and being questionable for this one. And he was 3 yards off too. Like, Brady threw for $142, May threw for $139. So again, maybe Drake May just says, all right, blanket Joe Boo, I do it myself, and just has a ball out game with Steph Diggs and Pop Douglas. Maybe the Chisler gets in there. Who knows? Maybe it's a big Kyle Williams game, because obviously the secondary of the Jets is still game. It's better than average, but it ain't what it used to be with Sauce Gardner sitting on the sidelines with Country Fried Rivers out in Indianapolis. Devon Everett, I think it's Devon, maybe it's Devin, who knows? Ask watching live on Facebook, how exactly are the Pats getting the 1 seed? John, would you like to outline for the good listenership how the Pats could get the 1 seed?
Pats win out. Broncos lose to the Chargers next week. So I want to say simple, but you got to rely on the Chargers to beat that Broncos team. So that's really what it'll come down to, because I think the Patriots should win this week. And I think Miami at home last week of the year, you should win that game. Obviously,
with Quinn Ewers. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it'll be okay, but you should win that game. So then it really comes down to, can the Chargers beat the Broncos? I think that's, whether or not you get the 1 seed, that's going to play a large part of it. And the interesting thing too this year, Fitzy, I'm kind of curious to your thoughts. Not your typical year with 7 seeds. So if you get the 2 seed, it's not going to be Miami from a couple of years ago that sneaks in, or like a bad Steelers team that sneaks in. It's going to be maybe the Bills, maybe a pretty good Chargers team, maybe Houston with the best defense in the league. So it's, you always want the bye, you always want that extra rest, but a little tougher than typical number 7 seed, I think, this year in Wild Card Weekend.
So you're telling me 9 days from now, when the Chargers play the Broncos, we are all Chargers fans. Damn it! Fine.
Chargers, go.
Go Chargers, go.
Yeah.
That's right. Put on your high-bar khakis and root for Big Jim.
Yeah.
That's doable. The Chargers have been playing great even without their 2 all-world tackles that they've been missing for most of the year, in Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater. So the Pats it's a tricky situation this week for Vrabel, with the whole idea of, I'd like to still get the win because the 1 seed is within hand. I would like to lock up the East. I don't want to dink around with the Jets, but at the same time, I can't afford to get anyone hurt, because there is to use triggering Patriots parlance, it's more probable than not that the Patriots will be hosting a home playoff game the weekend of Super Wildcard weekend of the 10th, the 11th, or the 12th. So we'll see. Also, let's see. Would you think? Oh, Pete Austin watching live on the YouTubes. Do you think the Jets though would tank for the pick? I think Aaron Glenn's going to try to win the game because A, they need a positive moment from this season, and B, he may or may not be fighting for his job, Johnny.
I would keep Aaron Glenn another year. And I know things haven't gone well, but like at some point you got to stop recycling all these coaches if you're the Jets. And I do think he's legit. He's got to work on his clock management. I know they got to get that offense a little bit more figured out at quarterback, but I would keep him around if I were the Jets. I just would. But knowing the Jets, Fitzy, nothing would surprise me.
Can't spell Jets without jest, which is what they do everything in. And back to your question or your point from a moment ago, like it's a good one. Like the 2-7 matchups used to just be like a super good team would have to entertain or, screw around with a team that didn't belong in the playoffs, and you would power through. A lot of times they would, you'd get through that 4:00 Texans versus somebody wild card game on a Saturday, whatever.
The Brock Osweiler, Texans
the Brock Osweiler Invitational, we'll nickname it here.
Yeah.
Or Hoyer time for others in different parts of the country. But yeah, no, like 2-7, 4-5, 3-6, they're all coin flips now because the NFL has just been such a mess because it's just all over the place. There is no wagon. There is no dominant team. There is no surefire super squad right now. Like I would still say anywhere between 6 and 8 teams winning the Super Bowl would not surprise me. The Niners, the Rams, the Seahawks, the Eagles, Bears, even at this point, sure. Probably not the Packers. I think attrition's got the best of them. Bills, Patriots, maybe the Broncos, like 8, 9 different teams. Sure. Wouldn't surprise me in the least.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think it's like last year, and I don't know if you were at the Patriots-Eagles joint practice last year or not, but I was there, and I remember just thinking to myself, like, wow, there is a massive difference between these two teams, and the team in green and white looks like they can win the Super Bowl. And all year long, they were dominant. They kicked most teams' asses, and they went on and won the Super Bowl and did that. I don't feel like there's a team quite like that this year that's that good. So it'll be interesting to see. And this is going to be a playoffs with no Mahomes, no Burrow, no Lamar Jackson. So it'll be really interesting to see. Like, again, you could make a case that 10 out of the 14 teams that make the playoffs, like a realistic case they could win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, this is complete Royal Rumble time. This is Squid Game, the NFL edition. And that's not conveniently mentioned just because games were on Netflix yesterday. And yes, in case anyone's curious, I did pour a big eggnog and fall asleep watching Stranger Things last night as well. You a Stranger Things guy, John?
I actually don't have Netflix, so I'm not a Stranger Things guy anyway, but not really a Netflix guy. So.
Well, now I know.
I got all the other streaming stuff. I mean, I got Hulu, Prime, HBO Max, Apple Plus, like that. That's enough.
You got Funtown, you got Crazy Box, you got all the all the other good ones.
That's some we're not allowed to say on a family show.
Yeah, well, we have officially been watching the NFL in the upside down this year because again, like the fact that you could almost even say, like, would it surprise me? Would it surprise me if it was Jags Panthers in the Super Bowl? Yes, but at the same time, no.
The Jags actually wouldn't surprise. I don't know if I would be that. The Panthers would. I don't know if I'd be that surprised. Like the Jags did just go to Denver and win by 2 touchdowns. Like I
know. And by the way,
it's weird.
Touchdown Jesus, John Elway with hair is like playing out of his mind these days. Like Liam Cohen, the same way he helped elevate Baker Mayfield into, the next big thing to $100 million man. Now he's doing the same for Trevor Lawrence as well.
Yeah.
Like, dude is balling out.
Yeah. I think it's because he's from Rhode Island. No other reason.
Again, no, that's fine. The it's the 401's time, right? And as one viewer points out, Johnny, as we get close to wrapping up this little Jets Pats preview, which has very little to do with the Jets and the Pats and more just about random football and pop cultural observations. I blame Taylor Swift for this sucky NFL season. Well, she lives in Rhode Island, so we'll have to take out Taylor Swift from the equation and maybe add Liam Cohen.
Yeah. Balances out. I guess so. Yeah.
All right. So what do you? Well, I see the Patriots winning Sunday. I don't see it that close. I mean, there's no reason. Yes, the Jets can run the ball. You're right. They do have good young tackles on the team. The line is still good, even though the Jets line never feels healthy. It's like 2 games into the season, the Jets are already down a guard. But that said, they can run. Patriots' run defense has been, as the kids used to like to say, and maybe they still do, kind of sus recently, giving up over 130 yards on the ground. Probably a big day for Breece Hall for anyone that does the DFS or is still involved in the fantasy championship. And for the Patriots, it's right back. It's right back where all these games have been. Like Andy Hart has said, like Andrew Callahan has written in the past couple of weeks, you got to just put it on the big, broad, country fried shoulders of Waffle House Josh Allen, Mr. Bakesmith himself, Drake May.
Yeah, to me, this game is more about the Patriots than anything else. And I am going to watch that offensive line, Jets running game matchup against Patriots defense. But this comes down to they clinch a playoff spot last week. They have a bunch of injuries. Things are mostly going well, though, besides the injuries. Do they stay focused and do they beat a team that they should beat? Even an injured Patriots team is better than this Jets team. So to me, this game is just much more about the Patriots than it is the Jets. And I know the Patriots are well ahead of schedule in their rebuild, right? We all know that, but you want to keep this going, right? You want to be playing well going into the playoffs. The last thing you want to do is limp into the playoffs and either blow the division, or even if you win the division, but you're not playing well and you're matched up in that wild card round and you just don't fully have it. So you want to play a clean 60-minute game, and you should win if you do that. So to me, this game is just more about the Patriots than it is anything to do with the Jets.
No matter how many kitchen sinks, trick plays, or random hardo football efforts are made by the Jets. I got Pats 23, Jets 13. I mean, if the Jets score more than one touchdown, then I want an emotional refund. Johnny, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be in that 31-14 type range, because I could just see with all the Patriots defensive injuries, maybe they give up 2 touchdowns there. And with the offense, I could see them sputtering a bit at the beginning, and then once they get rolling, put up a few touchdowns. So I'm thinking 31-14-ish range.
Stop me if you've heard this before. The Patriots will give up a shocking touchdown on one of the Jets' first 2 drives. Everyone will tweet up a storm about how this keeps happening, and it's going to be a problem in the playoffs. Then Drake May will do Drake May things, and everything should be all right. Make sure you give old Johnny Boy a follow, who's been doing an awesome job this week, filling in for some of those other lazy, no-good hosts at WEEI at all hours, morning shows, nighttime shows, taking calls from Pop Douglas at 4 a.m. to pre-record interviews. Everything you need to power your sports radio engine and beyond. Give him a follow at The Real John Lyons, JONLYONS. And I remain the original misfit toy, your old pal, Nick Fitzy Stevens, at FitzyGFY. I'll be back with the Six Rings postgame show on Sunday from 4 to 7 o'clock. Then we'll have a Patriots Monday, and we'll talk to Marcus Jones and Drake May on Monday as well before the new year. Let's hope the Patriots come in with a big dub, Johnny. Maybe we'll get a chance to catch up with you on the postgame show Sunday as well. And again, if they win out, you get the East. And if the Broncos fall to the Chargers, then you get that 1 seed, and then everyone gets healthy. And then, like we said, the snow globe has been shaken up just enough that anything would be possible.
Yeah, and then you can lose in the divisional round just like you did in 2010. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Oh, boy, kidding. Everything was going great. And that's signature Lions right there. Here you go. How about this one, Johnny? Brian Phelps, 2506, Sunday. Drake May's first 600-yard game of the season.
Yeah, what's that Drew Bledsoe record? 70 pass attempts in a game?
The 1994 game.
That's what we're
45 for 70.
Yeah, that's what we're getting.
That would be absolutely wild. All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching, you folks. Appreciate you so much watching live on YouTube, Facebook, and beyond, Twitter, and everywhere else. Thanks for listening, whether you listen on the Odyssey app, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever. Tell your friends. We got the best Foxborough fan community growing out there. We're looking forward to having a strong finish to the rest of 2025. And then everybody can eat a bag of kicks in 2026. For the Lions Den and everyone else at WEEI, Odyssey, and 2400 Sports, your old pal Nick Fitzy Stevens saying thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you Sunday right after the game. Good day. God bless. Hope you had a great Christmas. And as always, Johnny, you want to punch it out for us?
Go Pats.